The best of Money Matters. The Big Story.
Welcome to The Big Story. I'm Nadiah Koh. Election fever is at an all-time high as Singaporeans closely follow the campaign trails leading up to the May 3rd general election. And after a 10-year hiatus, rallies are making a comeback this election season following the pandemic restrictions that kept them off the campaign trail in 2020. One key highlight is the rally at UOB Plaza's Promenade, the first in a decade, held today as part of the historic Fullerton rally. This event holds deep significance as it's held near Fullerton Square, where Singapore's founding Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew gave many influential speeches over the years. And over the weekend, several parties gained significant traction from their rallies. Notably, the Singapore Democratic Party, SDP, drew attention for an incident where candidate PM Wong used a racial slur during a rally, which led to a public apology from the party. Meanwhile, foreign interference in Singapore's elections also made headlines with social media accounts linked to foreign actors being blocked. So lots to unpack here, but to break it down for us today is Dr Teo Kay Key, a research fellow at the Institute of Policy Studies. Hi, Dr Teo, welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome.
All right, Dr. Teo, why is the Fullerton rally considered historically a significant one in Singapore's political landscape?
Well, this Fullerton rally is held near the Fullerton Square, as you explained just now. So I think it has a historical significance in that sense because it was witness to a lot of our political history. Also, this place and this particular rally is a lunchtime one, so it actually helped to allow office workers who may not have been able to attend other rallies, perhaps in the evenings, to have a very convenient place to hear what the parties have to say.
Right. So what impact did Mr. Lee Kuan Yew hope to achieve by holding rallies directly with office crowds rather than relying on media coverage?
Well, always when you hear a speech, it is actually very different from reading a second-hand account of it on the newspapers, right? Because you'll be able to hear the real emotions that come out real time when the speaker is talking about the content and what he wants to convey to the crowd. And that actually allows people to really connect and get the emotional connection that they have with the speaker.
Right. Dr. Teo, how has the rally's venue and format evolved over the years, and why were these changes necessary?
So I think two of the most significant changes over the years was the first in 2001. This rally was not held because it was just after the September 11th attacks in the USA. So there were fears of possible terrorist threats in the same area. So it was not held. And then in 2020, it wasn't held at the venue. Instead, it was held online because of the COVID pandemic.
Were there also any notable moments or turning points in the past Fullerton rallies that influenced public opinion or election outcomes?
I think two more notable moments was the first in 2011 when then Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, he apologized for the mistakes that the government had made. I think it was quite exceptional because of its humility and the expression of, apology. And it was really in response to the discontent that had been expressed by voters and constituents in the earlier days of campaigning. And 2011, then Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong also spoke at the rally, and he also quoted the late Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, which was a few months just after his passing, and that probably did take quite a significant point for them in that election as well.
Okay, so how might Prime Minister Lawrence Wong's debut at this rally shape public perception of his leadership?
Well, because this is a significant rally for the PAP especially, it does highlight the transition from, Mr. Lee Hsien Loong to Mr. Lawrence Wong as Prime Minister, in the sense that he is the one wrapping up the rally for this time. And it also allows us to really see the priorities of the party going forward, as well as, the content and, what they are trying to push forward as the party's election campaign.
Were there any other notable highlights that stood out to you at the Fullerton lunchtime rally today?
I think it is interesting that besides Prime Minister Wong as well as Minister Indrani Raja, The rest of the speakers were all the new faces that were introduced in this time, in this year. And so that really highlighted this focus on, highlighting the new people and letting them have some spotlight and showing the crowds what they can do and are capable of.
Dr. Teo, aside from this, let's take a quick look at some of the hustings over the weekend that have also gained significant traction. Any major surprises from the weekend hustings? Were there any particular rally moments or messaging strategies that you think really resonated with voters?
I think one of the possible points where we saw from the weekend hustings was the Jalan Kayu rally, where Mr. Ng Chee Meng did address his role in NTUC prior to coming into the election, and that was sort of the first time we heard him speak about that his role in the NTUC Alliance attempt, of collaboration.
Right. Looking back at something that also made headlines over the week, an incident where SDP candidate PM Wong used a racial slur during a rally. How do you think such incidents shape public perception of political parties, especially in a multiracial society like Singapore?
I think this really underscores the point that even though we are working towards a very we are a racially diverse country, there are still underlying tensions and people who still are less aware of certain terms that are very hurtful to different communities. That shows that our society is a work in progress in ensuring that we are actually truly tolerant and diverse and accepting of all cultures and communities.
Right. The SDP has issued an apology and clarified that they do not tolerate such behavior. Is this enough to regain public confidence? Will the remarks have a lasting consequence on the opposition's standing?
I think it is good on the SDP that because they have rallies every day, that they immediately address the situation the next day in the next rally, and the candidates actually stood on stage to address it directly, as well as the party's chairman and spectrum. So in that sense, the party did take a very direct stance in confronting the issue and acknowledging that this had happened and apologizing for it. So in that sense, I think the parties the party has been trying their best to regain public confidence in that way. Whether it will have an impact on the individual candidate, though, it will be difficult to say.
Right. Dr. Teo, there's also been significant controversy around foreign interference in Singapore's elections, particularly with the blocking of foreign social media accounts. How serious is this situation?
I think this situation, the issue of foreign interference, we have seen it in several other recent elections around the world. So it is not something that is unique to Singapore, but it is also something that we need to take note of, because the influx of information, during this whole campaign period where people are trying to advance different points of view. So it is very important for voters who are looking on the internet for all these information to be discerning enough to understand whether this is foreign interference and whether the source is somewhere that's credible.
Okay, so how do you think Singapore can manage, or has Singapore successfully managed these external influences, especially when it comes to concerns of political support from foreign actors?
Well, in that sense, the government has been very swift in coming in to highlight this issue. So I think it does make people more aware. And there was also the recent law, the bill that was passed on foreign interference, that would also help in the managing and policing of these influences.
Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong mentioned yesterday that the PAP was the first to take action on this. Is this something that political parties can come together to agree on or to manage?
Well, in terms of foreign interference on, foreign actors supporting different individuals or parties, I think the parties individually have been quite firm on saying that this is not something that they will condone, and they are actually looking for support from Singaporean voters, the people who can cast vote for them at the ballot boxes. So in that sense, they do seem to agree on this part being something that's not accepted.
Okay. Meanwhile, Workers' Party leader Pritam Singh has also stated that his party does not engage in identity-based politics. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's a very important declaration because his party now is the biggest opposition party, the town present in the previous parliament. So to really step out and state categorically that they do not engage in identity-based politics which is something that, in our diverse society, something that voters are looking for. It is a very important statement.
Right. Dr. Teo, 5 other election rallies are scheduled to take place later this evening. What will you be looking out during the rest of the events? Anything particular that you think voters want to address?
I think I will be looking out for whether, there are any good speakers who will be standing out within the next set of rallies that are scheduled to take place. And also, if anything that voters want to address, I think it would still be the same issues about whether, their concerns about bread and butter issues can be addressed, and why they should be voting for the different parties who are holding the rallies.
Right. And before we let you go, Dr. Teo, as political parties enter the last week of hustings before the general election on May the 3rd, are you expecting any other surprises?
Well, given how things have been going for the last few days of campaigning, I think we should expect more surprises or more interesting events along the way. There are still a few days more, so I will just keep our eyes peeled.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Teo, for your amazing insights today.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Dr. Teo Kay Key, a research fellow at the Institute of Policy Studies. This has been The Big Story with me, Nadiah Koh.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.